With a trembling hand, Stan lit the match and held it to the tip of the incense until it caught fire. After blowing out the flame, he carefully nurtured the glowing ash with a few breaths from his lost soul. When it was ready, he placed the flickering cinder of dragon's blood into the ancient Tibetan bowl and slowly seated its cover in place. Finally, after taking hold of its bronze handles, he lifts the vessel up onto the granite mantle. Soon the cover's three-headed dragon begins to snort fragrant smoke, then inhaling the offering as the vapor drifts upwards past the carved chimney piece, he presses his hands together and prays to his faraway god. All the while, his troubled eyes follow the smoke's occult path as it snakes its way up to the ceiling's ornately painted blue firmament. Once the swirling fog reaches the celestial actors above his head, the late artist's work begins to show signs of life. The sky blue canvas, with its billowing clouds and smiling cherubs, slowly dims as though a storm approaches. Gradually, a somber gloom engulfs the heavenly scene once meant only for saints and angels.
As he has done before, in a place he has long since departed, Stan Lufa Rothman calls upon the dragon for help. "Azazel," he cries, "O father of my spirit and keeper of my soul, I summon you now. Protect me from those who wish me harm." "Azazel," he implores again, "O great one, I summon you now. Return me to my rightful place, for this is my destiny." "Azazel," he says a third time, "O wise one, I summon you now. Quiet the presaged woman, for she has come to tell our secrets."
Stan Lufa Rothman now waits in silence for something to happen, but nothing does. He remembers it was not long ago that he could call upon the dragon with merely his thoughts. Back in that place of his origin where the laws of old heaven allowed it, the leader of the fallen ones would come to him, but not here. Here it seems, even Azazel cannot break the rules set by the committee of the ancients.
"That's why they blame me," he mutters out loud as he pounds his fist against the thick stone mantle, staining it with his blood. "That's the reason I blame myself." Stan mouths ruefully. "I should have considered the limitations of the code. Everything was happening too fast."
The trainer code was all I could get my hands on after the war. It was our only option, and the one I really needed. If we wanted to escape, we had to use it. Over and over, Stan continues running through the same justifications for his actions as though he was preparing for a jury trial of his peers.
"I understand it's what I promised them. That's what makes them angry. There was just no other way out. I did what I had to do."
And so once more Stan resigns himself to his fate of uncertainty.
"Somehow I must show them that this dark period is coming to an end. In just a few years, the masses who oppose us now will no longer have their voice. In a few days, I will show my true followers how close we are to achieving victory. That should placate them for the time being." This conference in Bretton Woods will be the right setting to show them just how close we are to full control. That's all they really care about, it seems, getting back to their games like before. So if some still decide to mutiny, I will handle it the way I have before. If it were not for me, they would have been forced to struggle for survival like humans. No matter how my people feel about our situation now, it's still better than being forced to live like slaves. They wanted an escape, and I gave them one. They will damned well remember that in the next few days.
Stan now begins to pace about the expansive Rococo sitting room without noticing any of its grandeur. His motion roils the smoky haze coming from the dragons' heads, causing it to spin about like angry waves at sea. Leaning up against one of the massive green marble columns, Stan stops to watch the ethereal scene playing out above his head.
Blissful angels and playful cherubs enjoying paradise just the way we used to, he recalls, as he passes his hand through his slightly greying hair. Maybe we should have agreed to their terms. The others did, but we were too damn proud. Now we've lost our chance. We can never go back.
That awareness of the finality of his situation hits him hard and causes his knees to buckle as he grabs onto the marble column for support. The realization of his not ever being able to return to his home becomes nearly too much to bear. He wishes for death even though he knows that he is immortal. Stan and the rest of the Illuminati understand that death is a concept without real meaning for them. After taking a few moments to regain his composure, Stan moves to an armchair near the French doors that have been opened wide onto the west terrace. The sun had recently set, leaving the sky with brushstrokes of pale turquoise and lavender. A cooling breeze reaches him, where he rests, thereby allowing the spring air to carry his thoughts elsewhere. Off and on, the wind tickles the baccarat crystals on the chandeliers, resulting in a melancholy concert of what-ifs. As was often his custom when staying at his French chateau, Stan sought out the comfort of the monks' Gregorian chants. This evening he turns to one of his favorites and begins to listen to the ebb and flow of the Cantos Gregorianos. This haunting rhythm has the ability to hypnotize a cobra, and in this moment it did, for a while anyway. It was around 7 p.m. when the phone awakens this brooding serpent. Stan had fallen asleep briefly, but when he heard that phone ring, he knew right away who must be calling his private number. He was in no mood to hear Sensiner's complaints tonight, especially not now, but he picked up the phone anyway.
They're onto us.
Instantly, Stan Lufer Rothman drops the receiver down as though it was too hot to hold. A minute later, the obstinate phone rings again, and Stan hangs it up again. The calls go back and forth like a close tennis match. In the end, however, Stan reluctantly concedes the game.
Look, Senny, get this through your thick head. Even God isn't onto us. So why in the world do you think they are? And by the way, who's they?
Look, Stan, I'm not worried about your average guy on the street. You understand, by they. I'm referring to those smart-ass scientists and their damned groupies. You know who I mean, like the plumber and the surfer and the key. Do you realize they're already working on quantum complexity? They've moved from entropy to entanglement to complexity pretty damn quickly. They're so damn close, Stan. So damn close to figuring this whole thing out.